Hey everybody, this is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff, and I'm here to introduce Sarah Barry. She's from Sydney, Australia, and has been reading for quite some time. She's a Vipassana meditator, she's an occasional trapeze artist, and she rides one of the most fantastic, amazing, decorated, artistic bicycles you have ever seen. So, enjoy.
Hello, my name is Sarah Barry, also known as Psychic Sarah, and this is Tarot Off the Cuff. I'm talking to you from Gadigal land, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. It's inner west of Sydney, Australia. And the tarot deck that I am using is the Next World Tarot by Cristy C. Road. This is one of the, if not the most inclusive tarot deck that I've ever come across in my whole entire life. And it's just really beautiful as well. So I love working with this tarot deck. It's got a very deep community feel. So let us see what card will come up. As you can see, they are large. A little bit awkward to shuffle, but you know. I think tarot cards always, you know, it's proper for them to be somewhat awkward to shuffle, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I think it's this card. Haha, the Death card. We're not going to talk about death. Isn't it one of those things you do that, like when people get the death card and, oh my God, am I going to die? And I'm like, well, yeah, but not now. It's not what we're going to talk about. But when I look at the death card, I think about the need to just let go of our readings. So let go of the slightly crappy ones, the ones where we felt we didn't do as well as we wanted to, we felt we didn't quite connect in the way that we really wanted to. And it doesn't mean just kind of erasing that from our memories, but realizing that what we brought was what we brought in those moments. And you know, I think of the tarot reading that I received just before I became professional back in 2002. And I'd been thinking about going professional for some time, and I had, you know, been encouraged by friends and family saying you should be doing this professionally. And I was thinking, no, I'm not good enough. And I did go for a reading. There's a whole backstory to how I came to get this particular reading done, which I won't go into now. So I want to talk about more than just that. But the reading itself was kind of just pretty crappy. And I didn't feel like the reader connected with me at all. And I somewhat disgruntlingly paid for at the end, so, you know, it never occurred to me not to pay. I was like, oh, I'll still pay. So I went up and paid at the reception afterwards. And as I walked out, so crossing the threshold out into the outside world of the shop, my first thought was, well, I can at least do better than that. And that afternoon, I made a phone call to a metaphysical shop and asked if they were looking for tarot readers, and they invited me in for an interview, which was, as you would know, giving a free tarot reading to the person who's going to be hiring you, hopefully, and I did end up getting the job. And I think about that day a lot, and I think about how probably it's very likely that that reader was actually a really awesome reader. It's just that she was not meant to give me a great reading, because if she had given me this really deep, mystical, spiritual, powerful, spot-on intuitive experience, I was like, I can never be that good. But as it turns out, she kind of gave me this flat kind of, is kind of dead. And that was perfect. And as a result, I have come to realize, I now accept that because of that experience, it's very likely that sometimes the readings that I give won't connect with people in that moment in the way that they had hoped, for a very good reason, because there's something that they need to do. And if I was totally blowing their mind, that would have the reverse impact upon them that we're possibly hoping for, maybe. But I guess thinking about the death card in relation to letting go of our readings just means also letting go of those really amazing experiences, those experiences where we really connect with people. And, when you might have these days where you feel like you're even more in tune than usual, I guess as a professional, what we hope for is that our baseline, where we don't want to go below, like it's always just a little bit above par, that we're no longer doing the really shonky crap ass kind of readings anymore, but every now and then it just will be like, this fairly ordinary, but hopefully we're always giving the advice that we really need to be giving, and the reflections that people really need to take in, even if they can't take it in that moment in time, that they'll be able to take it in further down the track. But it's also knowing that when we're really firing and we're getting these really powerful messages, and when I say when we're getting these powerful messages, for me, like it is my approach in life to operate without a belief system. So I'm in my body, even though I did channeling back in the early day, it's like, it doesn't sit with me. It's not my thing. And I love that there are people out there that do it, and they may they keep on doing it, because that is something that can really help people. But for me, the way that I feel that I can give the best, most grounded knowledge and connection and empathetic, beautiful, warm fuzzy feelings for people is through just being really present in my body without belief systems, without them having to believe in a particular system in order for the reading to make sense. And so when I think about, passing on messages, that's what I mean. I'm just like messages that we get from our own intuitive reflections. And so I look at, how it is that we get to these points where readers can get really, I'm fucking fantastic. And it's possible that, we've all had a bit of that at times, maybe, unless we're just totally, no, I'm shit. But it seems to be something that I notice in readers a lot, particularly when they're crossing that threshold from just practicing on friends and family to going professional, that there might be these feelings of not being good enough. And then there's also this kind of weird ego thing that can happen where suddenly it's clear that we're actually doing a good job, and people are really raving about us and giving us 5-star reviews, the occasional 1-star review. Reviews, who would have thought? Anyway, that's another story for another time. But I think in those moments when we're really realizing that we're connecting, that we do our best just to let go of that too, like enjoy that visibility, that witnessing, that knowledge that people know in that moment that we are helping them. And that's a really beautiful thing, but there's a need to let go of that as well, so we don't kind of carry this sense of I am fantastic into the world. And I didn't see a lot of that. Like when I was starting out as a tarot reader, I didn't see a lot of humility amongst tarot readers. And I think I did see it sometimes, and I do see it a lot nowadays, which I love. But I think it is important that we don't think that we're some kind of God, and we let go of what people think about us, how they place us on pedestals, that we don't allow ourselves to be put on a pedestal, and that if someone is trying to do that, that we maintain good boundaries. It's like death, it's like just let go, just don't let them cross the river to us. Everyone will have their own approach into how familial they will get with their clients. I have more of a psychotherapeutic background, not that I ever trained as a psychotherapist or psychologist, but I started a psychotherapeutic process myself when I was 24. So that's 19 years ago. And it has informed everything. And it does inform the way that I practice with my clients. And as a result, a lot of the boundaries that I adopt are similar, not as strict as a psychologist, but similar on the way there. And it's been actually an enormous help to me to just let go of what other people think of me, whether they really don't like what I do or they love what I do, and just know that deep down, whatever has taken place has been exactly what is meant to have taken place. And it's my responsibility as the tarot reader to always check in with myself beforehand to make sure that I'm really present and that I've looked after myself enough that day already to know that I'm not going to project some of my own shit onto someone else, that I've looked after myself so that when it comes to this process of being really present with another human being, that, yeah, it'll be exactly what it is. And that at the end, I can just let go. I can forget what is said and just get on with my own life, knowing that it is not my responsibility or maybe my story to hold all the stories of other people. All I need to do is just hold that sense of connection, knowing that I did show up as presently and as beautifully as I could. So yeah. And something else, I mean, it's slightly different, but I'll just add it here because I don't really need to say much about it. Is it something that I do reflect upon during readings? It does come into my mind a fair amount. Is that sometimes, whether we're sitting with people in person, not nowadays, obviously, thanks to the virus, but whether it's sitting in person in the breathing space of someone else or via telecommunications, that sometimes this is the moment that we will have with these people, that this is the only time that we will sit down together in this lifetime to connect. And that just being a one-off thing doesn't have to be like a negative thing. It's sometimes people really, they only have in their head to do it once, or they're someone who just likes to see other readers, or they're passing through on their way from another place. And I just feel quite humbled by that a lot of the time, knowing that I'm having this really beautiful, deep interaction with someone. The kind of depth that does arise around death in that physical sense, in the sense of its rawness and openness and beauty, and how close it is to mourning and celebration, and how they just sit right up there with each other. That, yeah, something that I reflect upon, that this is our moment. And because it is our moment together, I want that moment to be as sacred as possible. And even with the people who've come and seen me again and again and again, like, I still like to hold that notion, because we never know when that last time will be the last time. And I love tarot. Makes me feel deep and very much in my body, very with my emotions as well. And of course, death does do that in the literal sense, death to ourselves one day, eventually, but also death around us. And I just love that what the death card can bring into our lives as tarot readers is the knowledge that this will all end one day, and it is our responsibility to just drop all the ideas about who we are as tarot readers and just connect to the cards as strongly as we can, and to our clients as beautifully as we can. How it's received, we have no control over that. But if we can let go, at least we know that we won't be carrying old stories that are no longer relevant if we do see people again. And also we won't be carrying this heavy burden within ourselves as we move forward in our own lives. So, yeah, I think that's it, eh? That was death. What a start to Tarot Off the Cuff. My name is Sarah Barry, also known as Psychic Sarah, speaking from Gadigal land. This was Tarot Off the Cuff. Good night.
Hey, this is Kevin.
Hi, this is Nooch.
Thanks for watching.
If you like what you saw, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe. You'll know when new ones are coming. And share with your friends.
We'll see you soon.